this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is the SteelSeries Arctis Nova 7 wireless. This is a really interesting headset from SteelSeries and part of the Nova lineup that includes headsets that go all the way up to the Arctis Nova Pro wireless, which is my favourite. But this is actually an interesting option as well because it's more affordable, but still offers some of the great features that the Nova Pro wireless has. For example, you'll see that in the box, you get a mass of cables as well as a USB-C 2.4 GHz dongle. It also has up to 38 hours of battery life. More on that later on. And uses SteelSeries GG and Sonar software to give you customizable sound. And I'll demo that as well as a mic test later on because it has an AI-powered noise cancelling microphone as well. As you can see out of the box, you've got a really nice looking headset that isn't too gamer-tastic, so there's no RGB lighting. It's pretty understated, and yet it's really flexible and adjustable. The headband's adjustable nicely. The ear cups turn and twist and tilt really easily as well, so it's really easy to get a good clamping force on your head and get it into a good position where it covers the ears. You'll see it has that air weave material on the ear cushions, which I'm not really a fan of. I find them scratchy, but the benefit of that is they don't get too hot. On top, there's an adjustable strap which sits on top of your head, so that gives you some comfort, and you can see that you can adjust it between several different levels. But the headband itself is also extendable, so it's fairly decent to get into a nice size. Now, the previous Arctis lineup from SteelSeries before the Nova had this headband strap design, which wasn't as adjustable, so this is actually better. So if you used those previous versions and found they wouldn't fit on your head because it was too big, then you shouldn't have an issue here because this is quite flexible and you can manipulate it around pretty easily. Now, this is a multi-device compatible headset, so it does come in several different versions. There's the Nova 7 wireless, the Nova 7P wireless, and the Nova 7X wireless. They're for different variations of console, for example, but all of them will work on PC, and PC is where I'm going to be doing my review. But they are also all interesting in a number of ways. So this one, for example, comes with a USB-C cable for charging purposes, has up to 38 hours of battery life, and you can obviously use it over Bluetooth and 2.4 gigahertz. More on that in a minute. But it also has a 3.5mm connection. So if you want to plug in a 3.5mm device, you can do that here. You'll see there's a cable included. You can plug into the headset directly, and then obviously plug it into your phone or whatever else you're using a 3.5mm. And then there's an adapter as well. So as standard, as a 2.4 gigahertz dongle that you'd plug into your PC, but that's USB-C. If you don't have a USB-C connection, you can plug it into this adapter, then goes USB-A connection. That also means you can get the dongle closer to you if you need to, although I've found the signal on this to be pretty comparable to the Nova Pro wireless, which actually has a better transmitter on it, but this is pretty decent in terms of the range that it gives you. Also, the USB-C connection obviously gives you flexibility because you can use it with Nintendo Switch, for example, and other devices as well. So you have that 2.4 gigahertz dongle, basically just gives you the good connection to PC, but it will also work with a phone. So I'm using it here with my Pixel 7 Pro, and I have just plugged the dongle in because I was curious to see whether it would work, and it does. So you can plug that dongle in, use 2.4 gigahertz connection from your phone to the headset with real ease. Now, this doesn't make much sense to do it this way because the headset also has Bluetooth, and there's a button on the headset that allows you to turn the Bluetooth on and pair it with a device. So I'm going to show you the steps for that. But the important point here is you can actually do both. So you can plug that USB-C dongle into your PC or console and then turn on the Bluetooth as well and connect that to your phone as I'm doing now. And then you can have two audio sources at the same time. This is really useful if you want to listen to Spotify on your phone, for example, and then play games and have both audio going into the headset from your PC and your phone at the same time. But it can be used for other things. For example, my daughter used it the other day on WhatsApp to do a WhatsApp call with her friend, have that as the chat, and then get game sounds from Fortnite on the PC and do it that way, which just means it's possible to do multiple different things with ease if you want to do it. So there's lots of flexibility here. And the fact that they both work at the same time is obviously a real benefit and one of the major highlights of SteelSeries headsets as well. Now, obviously, doing both at the same time is going to impact battery life, but the fact that you get up to 38 hours is pretty decent. It also has a fast charge capability as well, so that's worth keeping in mind because you can plug it in for 15 minutes and get 6 hours of extra battery life out of it, which is nuts. Now, what I wanted to do quickly was to compare it alongside the Nova Pro wireless just briefly to show the difference in the ear cushions. So the Nova Pro wireless has these faux leather ones, which are much more plush. You'll also see a nicer looking design. The aesthetic is a bit nicer on the Nova Pro wireless, but otherwise it's basically the same. You've got the same sort of dual connectivity, volume wheels, the speaker caps on the outside, very similar sort of twisting ear cushions, very similar size, basically the same headset but not as fancy. And that's the point with a Nova 7 wireless, is you're getting a really good headset with that Nova lineup of logic and features and specs. So I'll leave all the specs in the description so you can check them out, but a really good quality sound, really good positional audio, good bass, and a convenient features in terms of the Bluetooth and the wireless. It also has a game chat dial on it as well, so you can roll a wheel and you can dial it in so you either hear more of the game or more of your friends, and it basically allows for customization there. You'll see it has a retractable microphone, so you can see that's buried away in there, and I'll do a sound test on the mic in a minute. But that means that you can basically just either put that away and not use it and use a dedicated microphone, or you can use it obviously to make Bluetooth calls on your phone or to chat with your friends on Discord or whatever else you're using for game chat, even if it's just party VoIP. So you can use that. It has a mute button on the back and then an LED indicator on the microphone as well. So there's an audible cue to let you know when it's muted, and you'll also see it. The other thing that's good about this headset is the battery life. So on the Nova Pro wireless, when that headset gets low on battery, you get a couple of beeps and then it basically turns off. With this headset, you get multiple beeps over a good period of time, so you get plenty of warning. It's a very subtle, quiet beep as well. It's not obnoxious, but you just know that you need to plug in. You're getting that warning. You'll also see LED indicators on the power button, so you can see it's flashing yellow now, which means it's running low on charge. When it starts to flash red, it's getting really low and you need to plug it in, but you can get fast charge out of it, so you've got really good convenient charging in there as well. Now the speaker caps are removable, so you can see you can take these off, the tags off the outside, so you could customize it potentially with accessories from SteelSeries, although you will notice also there are some fingerprint oils on there, so even straight out of the box that's already picked up some oils and marks, and it's just worth bearing in mind. It might get dirty, but it is fairly easy to clean as well. But you can pop them off and change it. But I really like the aesthetic. It's very understated with this headset. It's a nice looking headset. It's relatively comfortable. I don't like the scratchy ear cushions, but there's lots of convenience here as well. Obviously, retractable microphone, good quality. You can bend it into various different places. You'll see in a minute what it sounds like. But if you don't want to use it, you can just mute it with relative ease, just from a button at the rear. And then volume wheel on one side, chat mix dial on the other, and lots of convenience. Now you also have the SteelSeries software as well. That Sonar software on PC is really useful for customizing the sound. I'll show you that in a second. Basically allows you to tweak audio and do settings for particular games, so you can do things like hear footsteps really easily. I really like this with the Nova Pro wireless, and it's the same with the other Nova headsets, so I'll just show it briefly in a minute. But basically gives you a really good sound across the board. And then it's a great looking headset too, with really nice comfort on it, not too much clamping force, plenty of battery life, and lots to really enjoy about it. So now we'll go into a mic test and then I'll show you the software. So here I am with the headset on, and now I'm obviously using the microphone, and what I want to talk about is the quality of it. So you can hear it's not as good as the mic I was using, which is obviously a dedicated microphone, but it is still passable. The other thing is you can hear yourself inside the microphone, and as I said, if you don't want to use it, you can just mute it and retract it, and if you mute it, you'll see the light comes on. There's also a beep inside the headset, so you know when it's not recording anymore. And it has AI noise cancellation, which I'll show you again in a second, and you can use Sonar as well to customize it, but you can also tweak the settings within the SteelSeries GG software, which we'll get to in a second. But decent sounding, and as you can see from now these views on my head, it's got a good sort of size to it, and the way it fits, nice and comfortable, good looking. Obviously you could use this outside if you wanted to. It does pick up some mouth noise though, so you can hear a little bit of wind from it. If you put it too close, obviously you can adjust it, move it further away. It doesn't stretch out super far in front of you, but obviously you can see it's pretty flexible. And you can bend it into various different positions with relative ease as well, so that's not much of a problem. Pretty nice there. So now we're going to the software. So here we are now in the SteelSeries GG software. You'll notice that the Nova 7 actually needs a firmware update. I'm not going to do that in a minute, but I would recommend doing those. Make sure obviously you get the best experience out of it. If you click on it, you'll then find the various different sound options. You can see that there are different sound settings, so you can bass boost, focus, smiley, custom, whatever, various different presets. Even standard flat one's really good in my mind. Then you'll notice down here you can adjust the mic volume, so you can actually increase that down depending on what you like, and you can get a live preview of it. But more importantly, there's a side tone setting down the bottom here, so you can go between high and low and off. Side tone is allowing you to hear yourself in the microphone, so it's mic monitoring. You can basically hear the sound of yourself, which is really handy on a headset where you're blocking out some external noise. Now, these ear cushions don't block out loads, but they do block out some, so it is helpful. And if you've got kids and you'll buy this headset for them, then it's really good to give them that side tone so they're not constantly shouting. Speaking from experience. And then the volume limiter, which reduces the maximum volume so you don't end up deafening yourself. So these are fairly basic settings. You can see you can also go into the settings here. You can turn on the timer so it will turn itself off after a certain amount of time. It's 30 minutes as default, and also the Bluetooth power on as standard, so you can set it so it always turns on Bluetooth as well, so you can turn on both at the same time. And obviously these settings will affect the battery life. But the bit that's powerful is in Sonar. So Sonar is a sound setting which allows you to do various different things. So in Windows you have to change your default sound settings, which means going into here and then choosing these. So you'll see that instead of your Arctis 7 microphone and headphones, you then have Sonar, and you have various different options. This is useful for customizing your audio in various different ways. Sonar is really powerful because it allows you to tweak things. So if you go into Sonar, you can see we can obviously set various different sounds in here, and you can get it to play back through your specific device. So what you do is you assign Discord chat in here, for example, to the chat channel, and then you've got game audio going in here, and then your mic's obviously being affected. If you go into each of these, you can then choose from a drop down based on the game you're playing. So you'll see Call of Duty, for example, you've got COD, you've got Warzone, CSGO, and what it does when you select these is it adjusts the sound settings. So it's basically pre-programmed with a whole bunch of different sound profiles for specific games. So if you want to buy a headset specifically for hearing better sound steps, hearing people creeping up on you in shooters, so obviously things like Apex and COD, Warzone, other things like that, obviously getting that edge is really handy in here. You can also dive down into spatial audio settings that customize the surround sound, so you can actually tweak between performance mode and immersion, and you can basically just adjust the slider in whatever direction you want for this and customize the audio there. You'll see there's all sorts of customization to what you can do in here. You can also adjust the volume and smart volume options. There's loads of options that are worth playing around with. The other thing that's interesting, I find, is this. So you can see in here, there's a setting in here for chat. So if you set up your chat with Discord, as an example, if you've got voice chat settings with Discord, you can then basically improve the quality of your friends, which is nuts. So not only do we have a AI cancelling microphone, which I'll get to in a minute, but you can also go through the settings here. Basically, you can apply different profile settings, so less nasal, deeper voice, broadcast quality, equalizer settings, and AI noise cancellation to your friends' microphones. So when they're talking to you, if they've got a terrible mic and it's got really bad pickup of background noise, or they just don't sound great, you can actually use this to improve the quality of them, which is crazy. It's such a good bit of software to use, so it's well worth diving into. And then you have the mic settings. So now, instead of using the Nova 7 microphone, I've changed it in Windows sound settings. So I'm using the Sonar instead. So I'm using the SteelSeries Sonar as the mic input, and then you can customize the settings here. You probably will have noticed a change immediately, but you can basically go through various different settings in here and change the configuration for these. So you can basically set different profiles, so you can see voice changes in here and what that does. And then you can also do AI noise cancellation. So basically you can turn this on and off and adjust it to eliminate background noise. So if you find you've got loads of background noise, you can change it. What you will find is possibly doing that too much might make you sound a bit terrible, but you can also turn on your compressor settings. You can adjust things through here. You can turn off this and turn on noise gate instead. So AI, it has this option here as well. So you have a variety of different ways that you can change between these sound settings, and you'll have to tweak and play around with it depending on your voice. But what you should find is you have a really good customizable microphone. So you not only got a decent mic, semi-decent mic to start with, but you can also tweak all the settings on it within the Sonar software. So there's loads of stuff to play around with in here. So the conclusion is, as you can see, a really good headset that's well worth considering. Customizable in loads of different ways, great audio, and a bargain from SteelSeries. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Thanks for watching.
You've made it right to the end of the video, you brilliant legend you. If you've enjoyed it, click that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and drop me a comment down below if you've got any questions. If you really enjoyed it, consider joining the channel and see the benefits of doing so. Check out these other videos, you might well find them interesting or useful, and most importantly, have a great life.